Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Gina, Chameleon Girl. And what we're gonna make tonight is some Spanish steak, as you guys can see in the title. So the first thing you're gonna do is start out with your hands nice and washed up, okay? And you're gonna start with some nice, well-washed chuck steak. And the reason why I like to use chuck steak is because it does very well in this type of recipe and with gravies and stuff like this. This is not a brown gravy, as you guys will see, but it just does better. It's very, very tender when you cook it over a period of time, and you don't need the most expensive cut of steak for this recipe. You can also substitute it with pork chops, possibly chicken, but I have never done it with chicken. I've only done pork chops and steak. The next thing you'll need is 1 to 2 bell peppers. So I did 1.5 bell peppers just because that's what I had. Then you'll do 2 onions if they're small. So you want a lot of onions. Usually I like them cut, what is that way when you cut them and they're the long way?
Julienne.
Julienne. Instead, but these are chopped, and that's okay. I didn't specify to my son which way I wanted them. You want 3 cloves of garlic. You want some butter. It could be salted, or you can use some margarine, but you just need a little bit of it just for flavor. Some vegetable oil, pure, or whatever kind of oil you like. It doesn't have to be vegetable, okay? And you want some coarse salt. So this is coarse kosher. Black pepper, and you want some crushed red pepper. I would say this red pepper is optional, but it's really not in this recipe. It just does something to the sauces. Then you also want to use, and I'm making enough, by the way, guys, to serve at least 8 people. So anyway, I'm going to use 2 cans of tomato paste, 12-ounce cans, and 1 can, 15-ounce tomato sauce, okay? And use the brand that you prefer. The first thing that we're gonna do is with our, of course, clean hands. And you guys will also need some rice because this is served over a bed of rice, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is season it. And these seasonings are pretty simple to me. The reason why I like the kosher salt is because for whatever reason, it kind of makes your meat more tender. We're gonna turn the skillet on, and we're gonna have it going kind of high because I should have already had it going when I was telling you guys the recipe, the ingredients. So you wanna use about a teaspoon of oil, just enough to coat the bottom of your pan. Y'all know what kind of pan I'm going to use too, so cast iron. Anyway, and then you're going to use some salt, salted pepper, salted butter, but you can use margarine. Now, like I said, this is just for the flavor, and you can use unsalted. So you're going to do 2 pats, 2 nice pats, which is 2 tablespoons of that. So we'll go back over here and finish seasoning. So then as that gets hot, we're gonna add on plenty of pepper. So this recipe calls for more pepper than salt. And so then, anyway, after that, you just take it and just flip it over. So then we're gonna go over here and have your oven preheating to like 320, between 325 and 350. Well, we're gonna say between 300 to 350, depending on how long you wanna cook it. Like say for instance, if you wanna make something like this and you wanna have it cooking in the oven while you're at church, you can go down to 275 if you want, because we know you're gonna be gone, what, 3 hours or something, so you don't want it to burn, you know, just while you're gone. That's that. So then we're gonna take a fork. We're just gonna take a fork. Get the camera ready and another grease. So then you're just gonna lay it in there. And you're gonna let that cook pretty high. You want it to stay pretty high with this recipe. You want it to kind of sear and you want it to go quick. Because when you cook steak real slow, you know, when you're frying it, if you cook it slow, like on 2 or something, then this would make for your steak to be tough. Okay, so this is just the way to get it to tenderize real quick with that kosher salt. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, then you have to try it and then you'll understand. So you just want that to sear and get nice and hard. We're gonna go in and we're gonna flip this steak over now. And you just want it to be nice and seared. So as you can see, I'm cooking it way high, medium high. I'm cooking it way high up there. So we're just gonna sear that. So we have seared that real good, it's pretty. So we're gonna put it in our nice little dish back here. We're gonna try not to get burnt on it, and then we'll just go to the next piece. Try to get these pieces to lay, you know, kind of flatter, because the reason why I say that is because you don't want them to I'm going this way with it. Kind of splash So we're going to go ahead and turn the burner back on. And I'm just going to marry up these flavors. So next we're going to take those 3 cans of sauces and we're just going to put them into a little pan like this. I can't think of nothing today. This pan is a saucepan, like a saucepan. Because you don't need anything, a big pan or anything like that. But anyway, you're just going to pop it into your saucepan. So now, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give it a whisk with these sauces together. And we don't want them all too thick. So I may add a little bit of water, okay? Just a little bit. So we're gonna say, let me see how much water this is. Half a cup of water to that. And just let that kind of just simmer there for a second. You will need some rice also, and I believe I had mentioned that earlier on, but you bed this over your rice. I don't think it would taste right over mashed potatoes or something. I just can't see this recipe. You need that texture, the rice texture. So because I know I'm going to cook this between 1.5 hours to 2 hours, I'm going to add some more water because it's still too thick. Y'all hear that? Oh, I'm gonna get burnt. We're gonna burn the house down. I'm trying to show y'all this. So all in all, I added 1.5 cup of water so that we can have it nice and smooth. And once it just heats up, we're not trying to cook this, but once it heats up, then we're going to go ahead, which is already done. We're going to go ahead and put it over our meat. Now remember, our meat is still going to produce some juices, and the flavor from our meat is going to come through. If you like oregano, you can add some oregano to this dish. And I like oregano. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of oregano to this dish. I'm gonna add a tablespoon, or I have added about a tablespoon. I also want it for the color. And once the juices from the meat marry up and go with this sauce here, well, what's going to happen is that it's going to be the perfect balance. And you guys will see that once we're done cooking it. Now, what I like to do is just go ahead and pour that right over on top. I like it smothered in it. You know, guys, if you have been here before with me, I like to saute my vegetables always with anything that I do. Go ahead and cook, but not with this recipe. I don't saute my vegetables. I don't understand why is it them doing it different, but I just don't. So I just take a little bit of garlic and I just go through. Just gonna get a little bit here and there, so that it's not, you know, overpowering. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, so I'm kind of layering the vegetables, okay? And the next thing we're gonna add is our onions. And too bad I don't have those mushrooms, but it's okay. But I'm telling y'all, it'd just be so fire when you add the mushrooms with this recipe. And I can't explain how good this is. I really hope you guys try it, and I'm not just cooking this to show you guys something that I'm doing different today, but now you want to take and be careful, because with your crushed red pepper, depending on like who's in your household, the dynamics of your house. So if you have small kids or elderly people, that's why I'm saying be careful. So anyway, I'm just going to sprinkle this lightly over there to where it may be 3/4 tablespoon. That's about 3/4 tablespoon. And I was going to put a little more pepper. I don't think I will, but I'm going to put a little more kosher salt. Just a little. See how lightly that's coming out? You know, every time I rewatch my videos, it just looks like everything's just streaming out, but it's really not. And I notice on some, you know, sometimes when people cook on YouTube and they say that they're adding X amount of whatever it is, people say, no, that wasn't, you know what I mean? But I'm going to show you guys one day. I'm going to pour, because I've been cooking since I was 12 years old. And I've been driving since I was 12 years old. A lot happened when I was 12 years old, I guess, in my life. But I'm going to pour something, like I'm going to say this. This is what I'm going to do for y'all. I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to freely pour the sugar into a regular bowl. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to pour it into a measuring cup to show you guys that I'll be dead on. I don't know why I feel like doing that, but I did do that one day for my daughter because she was like, no, that looks like more. No, it's what I said. Anyway, we're going to go ahead. Right, though. Shoot, when you be cooking, my son here who's recording, he's a chef. And so, I mean, he could tell me even better. So we're just going to take our nice dish and pop it into the oven. I'm going to cook it for an hour and a half on 350 degrees. And I'll be back with my rice done so that I can show you guys the outcome of this. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so we're back. And I did end up cooking my Spanish steak for about 2 hours, I'm going to say, in the oven. But you also have to include the time that when you sear it, because you know, some people eat their meat rare, but that is not the type of meat that you can just sear real good and bring to a certain temperature and it's tender like your fine steaks. Filet mignon, porterhouse, ribeye, T-bone. Y'all know where I'm going with that. So anyway, it's just a more inexpensive steak. But this is how it came out after we took it from the oven. Now, hey y'all, listen, what if I open it up and it's pure burnt? But anyway, I don't feel that no, it looks perfect. So this is what we're gonna do. We have our rice over here, and I just cooked that, so it's still kind of, but we're gonna take a look and we're gonna inspect, which I should have had my utensils out. Take a metal. Okay, so we're gonna kind of inspect it. Now this goes back to the reason why I didn't sear my vegetables, because they cook up so good in that tomato sauce. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and just kind of mix together the vegetables, so you have a bite in each spoon or bite that you take. You should have some bell pepper and onion. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut into it and we're gonna plate the dish. So I should have got a bigger fork. I'm gonna find the minute. Oh, that's good and tender. I mean, it's kind of falling apart. Yeah, that is so tender. But we're going to plate it right quick so I can show you guys. And now, don't be alarmed if it falls apart, because what is that? That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. Let's open our rice up. We just got some fluffy rice. This is minute rice. You know, for some reason, I'm not good at cooking the actual rice. But it's funny because my husband can cook the actual rice, but he's not good at minute rice. And I don't know. Are you good at minute rice, Bishop?
I don't really know.
Or which rice are you better at? The regular?
Regular rice, yeah.
Yeah, see? That's funny how it's just some people, you know, are better at it than other people. And I think I'm going to make this my son's taste test plate. So we're going to have to, because he's right here, so we're just going to switch. And he better say it's good. Look at that sauce. And, you know, it's less calories than if you were to do this with gravy. Of course, because tomato sauce, you know, and things like that. So you want to make it nice and meaty. Get some more of that sauce on there. Now, my mom made this dish all the time, but whenever she made it with pork chops. And, oh my Nelly, it would be so good. I was asking my son, who was going to be 25 years old actually, does he remember his grandmother making this for him? You know, but with pork chops. And he said that he didn't. So I was surprised at that. But anyway, let's go ahead and we're going to have him taste test it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have my son taste test it. So he just cut into it. Is it tough? You like it? You don't remember grandmother making this?
Yeah, now that I'm tasting it, I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Is it salty?
No, it's good. It's like perfect.
Does it need more salt?
Mm-mm.
He got to take one more bite, and then we're going to
Switch back.
we're gonna say bye to you. Bye to the people. How's the sauce? I don't know, the tomato
That's
sauce.
really good. I like how it's over the rice.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Over mashed potatoes or something would throw me off.
That's weird.
Yeah,
It's really good though.
it's really good. Okay, so it's an amen.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we got another amen on the Spanish steak bedded over rice. So amen to that. And in the meantime, I just want to tell you guys that I thank you for your support. And I want you to do me a big favor. I bet you know what it is. But anyway, go ahead and like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe my channel for the latest updates and the giveaway that will be coming soon. So thanks to you all, and God bless. Enjoy your night.